Hello, welcome back to the Nicole podcast. Today's episode is on the hidden truths about contraception. So, this is a very tricky subject. I need to be very careful with how I word everything. And the reason why I want to speak about this today is because it is a very close to home topic for myself. I am nearly 30 years old and I haven't been on any contraception for 6 or 7 years now. It's been quite some time, and there is very good reason as to why. So, I think it was about that time, 6 or 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with SIN3, which is precancerous cells. It's basically the stage before cervical cancer. Now, they do vaccinate against this in high schools. They vaccinate against the HPV virus, which is what will progress or can progress and turn into SIN1, SIN2, SIN3, which is what I had. And then if that keeps progressing, it will go into cervical cancer. But a lot of the time, the HPV virus goes away on its own, or SIN1, sometimes SIN2. SIN3, they're usually like, okay, we need to treat this, or you'll probably get cancer and die. That's what I was told, but I did heal this myself naturally. I spoke about this in episode 1, if you'd like to listen back on that one. But that's why this is a very important topic for myself to be speaking about. And when it comes to contraception, obviously it's your medical professional, it's your GP that will prescribe you this. And what does bother me a little bit about, actually, not a little bit, it bothers me a lot about this, is that they don't run through all the short term and long term risks of taking the different types of contraception. So, the most common forms of contraception that you'll see and hear about is the pill, IUD, implant-on, depot shot, the patch, and ring. I myself have experienced most of these. I've had the pill, had different pills from a young age. And then I had the implant-on, which is a little rod that goes surgically into your arm, and it lasts about 3 years, and it releases this hormone, which is what this is what a lot of contraceptives do. They tell your body that you're already pregnant, so releases hormones to make your body think that you are, so that you can't actually get pregnant. Um, with that is you're playing around with hormones, so not the best thing for your body long term. Depot shot I also had, which is an injection. I got it in the glute and I had that for about a year. So the reason why I stopped that is if you take that for longer than a year, it can start affecting your bones and your bone health. So your bones can start deteriorating. And I think that's it. Yeah, then I tried the pill again, and then I found out I had the SIN3 from excessive bleeding. And I was like, okay, I need to treat everything. I need to go back to the roots and start naturally healing all my issues. So the other ones that I haven't actually heard of or heard much about is the patch. It's called a Avra patch. It's a small sticky square worn on the skin, usually on the arm, stomach, or buttocks. It releases estrogen and progesterone through the skin into the bloodstream, and you change it weekly for 3 weeks, then 1 week off. And then the ring, or the Nuva ring, is a soft, flexible ring inserted into the vagina, and it slowly releases estrogen and progesterone locally. It's worn for 3 weeks, then removed for a week for a withdrawal bleed. So it sounds very similar to the pill. So they both also work like the pill, which is suppressing the ovulation, thickening the cervical mucus, and thinning the uterine lining, but with different delivery methods. So how they all work, basic overview is I said before, obviously they make your body think that you're already pregnant so that you don't get pregnant if you are sexually active. What doctors don't tell you. So, this is what we're going to flow into. This is very important and I think very necessary, and I'm very upset and passionate about this. Like, why they don't tell you, because it's very, very, very harmful what this can do to our bodies. So the hormonal imbalances and side effects, so mood swings, weight gain, depression, low libido. I see a lot of there's a lot of girls that go in to get the pill to fix acne, which is a hormonal thing to begin with. I know teenagers are more prone to it. It's usually stress induced, actually. If we go back to the root cause of everything, it's a type of stress, which can be poor diet, poor sleep, environmental, not being hydrated, poor macro and macronutrients. It could be a number of things. All these things are stress. And I think a lot of us think that stress is just, oh, I'm stressed out from work or my boyfriend's stressing me out. But no, there's actually so many different types that we need to be aware of. The long-term effects on fertility as well is a big thing. So I know I have a close friend actually, and I may even be in this box, but us as young girls obviously don't want to get pregnant for the most part. So we take contraceptive. And what this can do long term is actually affect our ability to fall pregnant later in the future. So, this is what's happening to a lot of us. We are spending our whole life since we are sexually active trying not to get pregnant. Then, when the time comes and you want to get pregnant, it can be quite challenging. A lot of women have to do IVF and things like that because we weren't told our whole lives about the effects, the long term effects of a lot of these contraceptive methods. So I think it's really important to understand that. I mean, we're able to do our own research. I did so much research. Everything that I know it's self-taught. I've done a lot of study and I've just dove into everything so I understand. Yeah, you don't know, and I don't even know where to begin with all the things that it's doing to you. So another big thing as well that these contraceptive methods will do is disconnect you from your natural cycle and intuition. So what I've been doing for the last 6-7 years is recording my cycles naturally. So a normal menstrual cycle will be anywhere from 28 to 35 days. It can vary. It can be a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, give or take. That's your usual cycle length. And then day one of your cycle is the first day that you bleed. This usually lasts for 4 to 7 or 8 days, depending on the female. So that's day one of your cycle when you first bleed. Then you have about a week of your period. Then you've got a week or two until you ovulate. When you ovulate is when you are fertile. You are not fertile for the whole month. You actually only have 36 hours that you are fertile. The thing is that this may be TMI, I don't know, but you're here, so you may as well hear it. Male sperm can live for up to 5 days. So the female sperms actually live longer, but they swim slower. So if you have a female baby, it could be because it's older sperm that was sitting there and it happened to last longer when you became fertile and you were ovulating, that sperm was able to make its way in. Or if you have a male baby, the male sperms swim faster, but they die quicker. So you could have had that male baby when the sperm had just come in. Like you could have had sperm and ovulation at the same time, and that's generally when a boy will be made. So there are ways that you can track your cycle to figure out when you are actually fertile and infertile. For example, your cervical mucus. So it changes color, texture, consistency, and things like that throughout the cycle. The app that I use and isn't super common, it's called Ovia, OVIA, and I've been tracking my cycles on that the whole time. Yes, also your cervix positioning. So if you're comfortable using your finger, you can figure out where exactly it's sitting, whether it's soft, hard, open, closed, and those sort of things will tell you whether you're close to ovulation, whether you're fertile or infertile. So I know that if I'm ovulating and I'm sexually active, I will need to be very careful around that window or just avoid sex altogether for that period. If I'm not ovulating, I know that it's very safe to have unprotected sex or protected sex. If you're with your partner, it's probably going to be unprotected. But I'm nearly 30 years old and I have not fallen pregnant once in my life. So if you understand what you're doing and you take the time to research and get into it, it's very unlikely that you will fall pregnant. But I know a lot of people can be quite lazy with this. So if you're into fitness and tracking your food, it's sort of like that. For 1 week, you'll track your food religiously so you know exactly what you're eating. And then after that, you don't really need to if you're eating the same foods because you have a good idea. learning how to track your cycle can be pretty much the same thing. Like I was, learning all these different things, like even your body temperature is something you can track to see when you're fertile and infertile. This can help if you're trying to conceive as well. Like obviously you want to know when you're fertile so you can work with that. And then if you're trying not to conceive as well. So knowledge is power. The other thing as well that doctors don't tell you, I almost skimmed past this, is the nutrient depletion. So taking these contraceptives can deplete your body. Your body may not be able to actually absorb these nutrients like zinc, magnesium, and B vitamins, which is very important for recovery, for your overall health and moods. Like no wonder we're having mood swings. We're not even getting our B vitamins or zinc or magnesium. Like we need these things to regulate ourselves. We want to go over all the nutrients. Key nutrients that it can deplete is B vitamins, especially B2, B6, B12, and folate, which is needed for mood, energy, and hormone metabolism. Magnesium, which is essential for stress management, muscle relaxation, and sleep. Zinc, which is important for the immune function, skin, and fertility. Vitamin C, which is an antioxidant. It supports immunity and collagen. Vitamin E, which protects your cells from oxidative stress. Basically, vitamin E is helping your body to fight off those dangerous or potentially harmful cells. If you're not getting that, then you're opening your body up to a weakened immune system. You're welcoming in viruses and diseases and things like that. So it's very important. Selenium, which is crucial for thyroid health, which is your hormone center. And I don't know how to say this. This is quercetin or CoQ10, which is an antioxidant, supports heart and egg health. So this is very serious. This is actually very, very serious. The fact that this is not presented to us when we go in and say, hey, we need some contraceptive, I think is so alarming. So the depletion of these nutrients can contribute to fatigue, anxiety, lowered immunity, poor skin health, and hormonal imbalances over time. It can also risk masking the risk of masking underlying hormonal issues like PCOS or endometriosis. These are hormonal issues that can be masked by taking contraceptive because you're not able to actually see how your hormones are working properly. So another really important part of this is the emotional and energetic side. So the effect that the contraceptive has on your libido and relationships. I know personally it can make your sex drive very depleted, which can then in turn affect your relationship, and disconnection from feminine rhythms, like we spoke about, tracking your cycles, and mental clarity. That was a big thing as well. Like I was all over the place. I just wasn't me. And I hear that from a lot of women. Like when they stop taking this, they're like, I wasn't myself. And it's crazy that women are on this for years and years, like half their life almost. So, okay. Sorry, I've not done this in a note form before, the podcast, and that's what I've got today. So I'm a bit like, okay, yeah, this and this and this. I don't want to leave bits out. That's why I've got it in note form and I'm not just free flowing with this one, okay? I've got holistic alternatives, which I spoke about, is tracking your cycle. That's probably your best thing. Obviously, there's condoms. I believe there is like an IUD, like there's a Mirena that doesn't release hormones. I personally haven't done that much research on it because the thought of that stresses me out a lot. So I've never considered that. But the whole point of all of this is I want you to do your own research and figure out what you're doing to your body before you're doing it, while you're doing it. Prevent yourself from going down these things. Don't just give away your power to someone because they're supposed to know the answers. You should make an educated decision yourself on the information that you've acquired, okay? That's what I've done. That's where I'm at. And that's how I'm going to be forever. I'm not going to let someone else decide what to do with my body. So, okay, what else? Oh, we're talking about body temperature. Okay, we spoke about that. So, you can track your body temperature when you are in your PMS, which is luteal phase. It's leading up to your period, or if you've just fallen pregnant. kind of very similar symptoms. It's the same thing. Your body's preparing for pregnancy, so the hormones are increasing. That's why your boobs will swell up. You could be moody, irritable, and your body temperature, like it's basal body temperature, BBT they call it, will be higher after you go through that. If your period comes, which is when the hormones drop, your body realizes it's not pregnant, it goes to release the egg, your temperature will also drop. The cervical mucus changes. Again, I suggest you go and do your own research about this, but when you're fertile, it will be very clear. It will be like not white, clear and sticky. That means you're fertile. After you're fertile or before you're fertile, it can be like kind of creamy, milky, that sort of texture. Yeah, that's how I generally tell. And your cervix, so yeah, it usually sits higher. And then when you're fertile, it will come down a bit lower so that it's ready to do what it needs to do. And spoke about the app. Okay, I feel like this is like a lesson, like I'm doing a lecture, the way that I'm reading this out. I hope that this information is useful for some of you guys. Okay, yeah, I've kind of just gone over everything. Yeah, personal thoughts, why I've done what I've done, because I didn't want to give my power away to someone else. My body is my temple and I respect it, and I'm going to make sure I'm always doing the best thing for it. And that's based off my own decision and opinions, not someone else's. Okay, I've got some advice here. If you are coming off the pill or any hormonal interfering contraceptive, you need to support your liver and gut. So there are supplements that can do this. Pre and probiotics are really good for your gut health. Even look into a gut detox. So detox pathways are the key to clearing synthetic hormones. Eat, I can't say this word either, cruciferous veggies, so broccoli, cauliflower, kale. Drink dandelion tea and consider milk thistle, which is very good for your liver. You'll need to replenish your nutrients, so supplement or eat whole foods rich in magnesium, zinc, B complex, and iron. Bone broth is really good as well. Leafy greens, red meat, eggs, avocado. You'll need to balance your blood sugar. So stabilizing your blood sugar helps your hormones regulate faster. Protein and fats with every meal. Avoid excess caffeine and sugar. Actually, just avoid sugar altogether. I'm not an advocate for sugar. Yeah, fats is what makes your hormones work really well and your brain function, and obviously proteins as well. So I'm not saying avoid carbohydrates, but maybe limit them. Turn the volume down a little bit on those. Track your cycle, even if it's irregular at first. So it just gets you into the rhythm of it. Probably took me like 4 or 5 cycles to really understand what was going on with my body. You can use a journal or app to do this. I use Ovia, like I mentioned. I'll add it into the description of this podcast so you can have a look. And be patient. It can take 3 to 6 months, sometimes more, to return to regular cycles. Don't panic if your skin flares or your period doesn't come right away. It can take a bit for your body to reset. You can consider herbal or natural. I'm studying this. How can I not say it? Naturopathic support. And these supplements are really good. I'm actually taking them right now because my hormones were a little bit out, so they're very good at regulating your estrogen and progesterone. So Chastity or Vitex, Maca. Actually, maca powder is delicious in smoothies. It's kind of like a caramelly, nutty texture. Evening primrose oil, and what's the other one? Red clover. Red clover is a really good supplement to take as well. Okay. I have more to offer on social media and Patreon. If this is something you want to dive into more, definitely reach out to me. Patreon members obviously get exclusivity. You can chat to me one-on-one and, yeah, anything you need help with. And that's all I've got. I'm sorry. I felt like this episode was a little bit messy. I was very passionate, so I probably spoke very fast for the most part. I was referring back to notes, so I did get lost a little bit, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I really, really hope that from this, you go and do some research on your body, what you're doing to it, and what you can do in the future to make sure it's working optimally and you're doing the best thing by your body, because it is your vessel. You do have it for your whole life. So you may as well look after it. Thank you.